What's up, everyone? My name is Keisha, and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you all are having a great day as well as a blessed day today. So, the thing that I want to get into today is that God's math is not our math. Whenever you I don't even know when this revelation comes, but I believe that you find out real quick how God's math does not be mathing, right? And this is why the Bible specifically tells us that God's ways are not our ways, because the way that we put things together is not the way that God put things together. And what I mean is that you notice that whenever you first come to God, that God, that you lose things, meaning God begins to subtract things from you. And the reason why to us this will not make sense, because oftentimes we feel like when we come to God, like things are supposed to get better. We're supposed to receive all these great things. But listen, this is why God's ways are not our ways, because when we first come to him, he's not going to add to us anything. First and foremost, he's going to begin to subtract. And then once he subtracts, then he begins to add, right? To add things to you that are going to better you, right? That is going to allow you to be the person that he's called you to be, and as well begin to allow you to look like him. And in that process, when God begins to add to you, you begin to get separated, right? He begins to also divide you, meaning set you apart from not just this world, but also from the people closest to you. There's going to be a lot of people that you are close to, or maybe you have already experienced this, that the people that you were most closest to when you first began your journey, I guarantee you are not friends with those people today. If you are, it may be one of them, but for the most part, God has divided you, have separated you, right, from people. So this is what God's math looks like. Like first he subtracts, then he adds, and in the adding he divides, right? But it is all a part of his perfect plan, and which leads us to also the thing that doesn't make sense, which is we have to die in order to live. And so again, like, make it make sense. In this part of our journey, the dying part, in order for us to live, we are dying to our old self, right? We are dying to our flesh. We are dying to those old habits. We are dying to the control that our flesh used to have, that used to allow us to make the wrong decisions, right? That used to allow us to live a certain way that was not pleasing to God, that was allowing us to continue to fall victim to the enemy's trap, to sin, and to temptation. These are the things that we have to die from, right? We have to die of our old self. And a part of the dying process is the suffering, where God is just getting rid of all the things that are tainting, to all the things that are toxic, to all the things that are unclean, to all the things that are making you susceptible to the enemy, as well as susceptible to your old life. In order for you to have the new life, which is in Jesus, we have to die in order to live, right? So this means we have to put off the old, forget the old, and to put on the new, which is to live, which is whenever we begin to live in the Lord, right? We begin to live in light. We begin to live in purpose. We begin to live in healing. We begin to live in wholeness. This is the purpose of God doing everything that he has to do strategically, which to us, we go through the process and we go through the journey looking like, Lord, this is not making sense. Like, why are these things happening? Like, I thought things were supposed to be one way. I thought that you said that you were going to do this. And he's like, yes, I am. You are going to live a life of blessings that he promises, abundance, like the prosperity, but there's a process. And in the process, God's math is not going to be our math. God's ways are not going to look like what we think they should look like. God is not going to always do the things that we desire and that we want him to do. You have to let God's will be done in your life, because I feel like a lot of people get to this place in life where you're constantly trying to tell God what to do, or, or just asking him that you want him to do things like a certain way in your life. And this is not you allowing God's perfect will to come to pass in your life, because this is you still wanting control. This is you still trying to drive the boat. This is you not in the passenger seat, but you in the driver's seat, and you're not letting God you're not allowing God to take full control and have full authority over every single area of your life. You have to begin to die. And again, a part of dying is relinquishing that self-control, that need to know everything, that need to have everything figured out, the need to just do things the way that you desire for them to get done. You have to give up your plan in order to really receive and step into God's plan and perfect will, as well as, let me add, his perfect timing. Because I know that we get to this place where we are impatient, which all of us are. We get impatient after a certain period of time, and we believe that God should do when we want him to do certain things. Listen, God's timing is perfect. We have to really get to a place where we are really just trusting that God's timing is really perfect, that God is really an on-time God, that he always comes. But they say he might not come when you want him to, but he always comes on time. This is the type of God that we serve. This is the mindset and the heart posture that we all need to begin to have, that we should trust God's math. Trust it, even when it don't make sense. Because in what don't make sense to us, God is doing something that we cannot even imagine, right? He's doing something down on the inside of us that we can't even imagine, because we're too focused on what's not making sense instead of focusing on the guy who is doing it, knowing that he already knows the plan, that everything is already mapped out. That's the thing. Everything that is ours in life is already done by God. It's already set. The thing is, the gag is, as they say, is that we just have to get in position in order to obtain every single thing that God has already planned for us. Trust the process. Trust God's math, even when it doesn't make sense. Because I promise you, he's doing something to build you up. He's doing something to better you. He's doing something inside of you that's going to allow you to reflect him, to imitate him, to look more like him, so that his perfect will and plan for your life can be done through you on earth as it is in heaven. Trust and remember that God's ways are not our ways, and that his thoughts are not our thoughts.